The Ford Maverick has been a huge success for Ford ever since they brought the nameplate back to the States in 2022. And for 2025, they are surprising everybody with the introduction of this vehicle. This is the 2025 Maverick Lobo, a street performance version of the very popular compact truck. And as you can see, it gets a unique look, unique suspension tuning, and upgraded transmission, and it's designed to be the performance-oriented model. So today we're actually out here back in Detroit to finally see the new truck in person. So let's go ahead and finally take a first look. Now, before we start talking about the updated exterior styling, which we're actually going to have a separate video on the Maverick family, so be sure to click on the link in the description below to see the other trim levels of the car. We're going to actually focus on the Lobo here. I'm going to start by popping the hood because when you're talking about a street performance-oriented truck, you want to know what's powering this thing. And as you can see underneath the hood, if you guys are looking at the Maverick Lobo, you're going to find a new 2-liter turbocharged direct injection EcoBoost 4-cylinder. So technically, the internals of the engine are similar to the previous generation, the pre-refresh model, but as you can see, they've kind of repositioned a couple of the electronics. They've strengthened a few things. They've repositioned the airbox for the vehicle. That's why there's a big hole here. And the output figures are actually the same as the other 2 liters in the regular Maverick, making 238 horsepower and 277 pound-feet of torque. That number should be fairly good for most people. This car also comes standard with the all-wheel drive system. However, the transmission in this model is different because instead of an 8-speed automatic, this truck uses a 7-speed automatic transmission, a quick shifting 7-speed. Technically, what Ford has done here is they've taken the 8-speed, they lopped off a gear for better gear ratios, of course, and putting the engine in the power band. They've added paddle shifters. It has, again, quicker shifts versus the 8-speed auto, and it should, again, deliver that street truck performance that you're looking for. Now, I don't have any kind of fuel economy figures yet or performance figures yet, but I do appreciate the fact that Ford really wanted to give the Lobo its own unique feel. So I'll be looking forward to actually getting this vehicle out on the road to drive this car. And if you guys are also curious, the hybrid powertrain on the other Mavericks is not available on the Lobo, which kind of makes sense. They want this, again, to be the performance-oriented model. Now you can see, looking at the exterior design, first of all, this blue exterior color looks really fantastic with the unique front fascia. The Lobo also gets the updated headlights that you see on the regular Maverick. So you have the projector-style LED low and high beams, incandescent turn signals. However, unlike the regular Maverick, you can see there are LED fog lights here in the lower fascia. The fascia itself is completely different. It's a little bit lower. It actually sits about a ½ an inch lower at the front, and it really, again, gives you more of that street truck look. I also really appreciate the new grille. It's a gloss black grille with an updated Ford logo. In fact, instead of the blue oval, it's now painted black, and it has kind of like a flat appearance to it. Along with the white. It really pops with the black accents in the grille, the blue exterior color. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys like the street truck look of the Lobo. I also wish that Ford gave this maybe like a hood scoop. I know it wouldn't be functional, or it could be, it's a turbocharged engine, but it would just, again, add to the whole ambiance of the Lobo trim. Now, if you want to follow me over to the side profile of the vehicle, you can see the Lobo also only comes, again, as the crew cab configuration. So 199-inch long overall length, 121-inch long wheelbase. And you can see these wheels are unique to the Lobo. So these are the standard turbo fan style 19-inch gloss black wheel. They're the largest wheel that Ford has put on a Maverick. It's riding on a 225 by 55 R19 tire. You can see these wheels certainly they're aluminum. They almost look like a steel wheel with hubcaps, but they are hiding some larger brakes. And to show you guys the larger brakes, I'm going to walk you over to this model over here because here's a black one. And you can see these are a no-cost option for the wheels. I actually really like the kind of double 5-spoke design. It's like a Y-spoke look to it. And then Ford says they've actually borrowed the brakes from a Ford Focus ST. They've also put some upgraded pads on it, again, to help with performance and stopping power. You have an all-independent suspension. I don't have the dimensions of the rotors, but they are a larger brake. I kind of wish that Ford had given it a painted caliper as well. But let's follow me back over to this truck. You can see in terms of the rest of the body, you can see a lot of the unpainted areas are now, nicely finished with a full paint finish. The rear suspension of the truck is actually lower by over an inch. So they lowered the front by a ½ an inch, the rear suspension by over an inch. So again, that gives it that slammed street truck appearance to it, which I think a lot of people are going to appreciate. And then if you want to follow me over to the rear of the truck here, you can see, again, that full body colored look carries over. So the rear bumper is completely different. It has a standard tow hitch on this model, which this should be able to still tow up to 4,000 pounds. But overall, you can really see that Ford is going with more of a sportier look, and I really appreciate all the painted elements here. It just gives the truck a nicer appearance to it. Now you can see the bed hasn't really changed. It can still, I believe, carry a maximum of 1,500 pounds in the payload capacity. You can see this one doesn't have the spray-in bed liner, but you do have this kind of accessory tonneau cover. There's still a power outlet in here, which is a nice touch. And again, this is a small truck, but it should be priced around the same sum as like a mid-size sedan. So that's one of the reasons why the Maverick has been so popular. Now moving to the interior of the 2025 Maverick Lobo. First of all, this interior color is unique to the Maverick Lobo itself. You can see it's kind of like got that navy pure dark blue interior, but it also has grabber blue and electric lime green stitching that's kind of contrast throughout the actual seats. It looks really interesting. I very much appreciate the new detail. It also has Lobo embossed into the actual seat back, which again reminds you that you have a special version of the Maverick. And then there are also a couple of changes. First of all, getting inside, I can definitely feel that this truck sits a little bit lower. Ford wasn't ready to talk about the specific ground clearance of this model, but once I get inside, shut the door, it has a really nice solid sounding thunk. And I also really appreciate the grabber blue accents that you also see splashed throughout the interior. So you can see there's a grabber blue accent here on the dash. It's also on the door panels. Right here on these touch points, you can still see the exposed rivets. You have one touch up down for all four of the windows, which again is a nice touch. The steering wheel also has the same contrast stitching with the grabber blue and the electric lime green. And unlike other trims of the Maverick, Ford has added paddle shifters to control that 7-speed quick shifting automatic. And for you guys that are looking to have a little bit more fun on the street, there's a new adrenaline driving mode. Ford technically called it the Lobo driving mode, but if I switch over here to adrenaline, you can see what it does is it actually puts the transmission in its more aggressive shift setting. It's for track use only apparently, and it also tailors back the intrusiveness of the stability control. So I'll have to wait until I actually drive the vehicle at some point. We could talk about that. Ford didn't talk about any kind of upgraded exhaust for this vehicle, but I imagine they probably made the sound a little bit better. Again, we'll have to wait until we actually get one to test out and see if that's the case. The rest of the interior, as you can see, is the same good stuff from the updated Maverick. So all of the Mavericks, including the Lobo, are also going to come with the big 13.2-inch cluster. It's running off of Sync 4A. It includes wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can see there's also a full 360 camera for the vehicle now. You can see a top-down view that's included on this trim. The software behind it is relatively good. It includes over-the-air updates, but just remember, Ford technically has a newer software system called the Digital Experience that I just tried on the Explorer. Instead, we have the Sync 4A or Sync 4 system here, which again is still a big upgrade versus the Sync 3, because if you remember, the pre-refresh version of the Maverick had an 8-inch display that ran off of Sync 3 where you had to plug in your phone for wireless or for CarPlay in general. This is now finally wireless, and the screen is now the biggest screen that you're going to find in the midsize truck segment. Now, in terms of the rest of the dash materials, you can see it's kind of all hard touch plastic here. I appreciate the simplicity though, and the durability feeling. You have a little bit of storage cubby here, more exposed screws. I like the kind of textured plastic that you see here on the dashboard. You have a dual zone automatic climate control. You also still have vents, of course, traditional vents and knobs and buttons, which I also really much appreciate. A new feature this year is also their Pro Trailer Backup Assist, which we've seen this feature in other trucks like the F-150 and the new Ranger. Big improvement. It really helps you with backing your trailer up or trying to hook up a trailer. You can see push button start is located down here. This little button controls the sliding rear window back there. You have a USB-A and USB-C wireless phone charging pad here. Really good storage, of course. This controls the 7-speed automatic. It's a rotary shifter just like other Mavericks. You have your start, stop, defeat button here. You have an electronic parking brake, and then you can see more storage here. Center console is nice and padded. Open that up, you can see it's still deep. It's lined with felt. I'm sorry, it's still deep, but there's no additional power on there, but it's certainly very usable. You can see the key fob. It's still pretty much the same key as other Mavericks. It has the Ford logo here. I kind of wish that Ford would have given it the Lobo logo here. That's kind of a tongue twister, but overall, storage space is certainly very usable. The seats are also heated. They're an 8-way power adjustment for the driver's side. For the passenger side, as you can see, it's just a manual seat, but you do get heated seats, but no cooled seats, and you also get the Bang & Olufsen stereo. So Ford's kind of equipped the Lobo to be similar to a Lariat trim, especially when you look at the tech and the features. I also really like the sunroof that you can get in this trim as well. The one thing I'm noticing is missing is no auto-dimming rear view mirror, but you can, I believe, get that as a dealer accessory if that's something you need to have. But the interior is still a really nice place to spend time. Let me show you guys the back seat really quick. And again, because the Maverick is available only with 4 full-size doors. You get up to 37 inches of legroom back here. So again, it's not like huge like an F-150, but it's certainly very usable. I'm not gonna sit here because there's ignore that, that's an inverter to actually power the truck so it doesn't die. The seats again have that same kind of contrast stitching with the grabber blue and the electric lime green. You can also fit 3 people across. There's USB charging ports, an actual power outlet here. No rear seat air vents, however. But you can obviously do things like fold down this armrest here. You can also fold this up here. You can see without this being the hybrid, there's a little bit more storage because some of the hybrid componentry did live underneath here on the hybrid model. So this is a nice area where you can hide a couple of items and store it underneath the seat. You can also still pull this right here. And you can see this also still folds down to reveal the jack and reveal some of the electronics for the Bang & Olufsen stereo system. But overall, if you guys, again, plan to use this as a family vehicle, the Lobo is just as practical as other versions of the Maverick. So if you guys watched our first look video on the other Maverick trims, you'll know that I was very much shocked with all the updates that Ford has made. They really made a really good truck, an even better truck. After seeing the Lobo version, this was a really nice surprise because as you can see in this Velocity Blue with those unique wheels, also the black painted roof, which also is included with the Lobo trim. This is certainly a unique truck that I think is going to appeal to an enthusiast that didn't think they wanted a truck, because even though this doesn't have more horsepower versus the regular Maverick, which I'm a little disappointed about, it has a new transmission which shifts quicker. I imagine people in the aftermarket community are gonna tune that engine even more to give it even more power. I'd love to see this thing with like 300 horsepower, which I think is very possible if you guys have a specific tune on it. But overall, the Lobo version of this truck certainly gives it that mean street truck appearance. I'm not sure I'm in love with these wheels. Let me know in the comment section below if you guys would go for these wheels or for those other wheels on the black truck, which are a no cost option, which by the way, if you guys are looking to get your hands on the Lobo, it's actually going on sale at the same time as the regular Maverick. So basically August 1st, as this vehicle is posted, you can go to your local Ford dealership and order it. And unfortunately, as of this video, I don't have final pricing yet for the Lobo version, but remember the regular 2025 Maverick starts at $26,295. That's for the base XL with the hybrid powertrain and front wheel drive. $2,200 adds you all wheel drive with the hybrid. $1,200 adds you the 2-liter turbo. I would estimate this truck here, however, because it seems to be based more off of the Lariat trim with all the features and tech that it has, is probably going to be a little over $40,000, probably around the same ballpark as the Tremor truck that we showed you in the other video. But still, again, for this much performance, practicality, and usability, the Maverick Lobo is certainly going to appeal to a different kind of enthusiast who didn't really necessarily think they needed a pickup truck that also still wants something that's, you know, sporty looking and also sporty to drive. But with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on this 2025 Ford Maverick Lobo. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, be sure to follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews, like us on Facebook, and as always, guys, please keep subscribing to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.